I bet that China capabilities in AI space, you will see a massive, if not domination, but definitely on par with the US in terms of the level of technical capabilities, the innovation, the speed. There's someone sending the proposal, right? Before sending proposal, it's like, okay, ChatGPT or like DeepSeek, help me to form this proposal. And then I'm sending it to you and you're like, thank you. DeepSeek, can you read this proposal? Why we are doing this? They should talk directly. If you look at the recent Super Bowl commercials, all the AI companies, they came with not showing capabilities of AI, but the one message was, don't be scared of AI. We're here to help. That future has arrived. It's just not evenly distributed.
Today we're going to talk about building AI agents, and I am with no other but Anthony Saar, who has recently ventured out into the world of AI agents and succeeded. Anthony, for those that do not know what it is you do with Finnovasia and with Samantha, your latest AI endeavor, can you explain in a few words?
My name is Anthony. I'm the co-founder of Finnoverse. Finnoverse is the largest community of tech Web3 professionals in the region. We have over 50,000 people in our community, and we've been here for almost 10 years running one of the most important professional events in Hong Kong. The most known one is Hong Kong FinTech Week, which we are partnering with Hong Kong government. And basically over the course of 10 years, we helped the government to scale it from almost like 300 people to 45,000 last year, coming from more than 150 countries, and de facto becoming the largest tech and finance and business event in the city.
So how would you describe Samantha in just a few sentences?
Yeah, so basically our vision is to build an infrastructure for offline human relationships, professional human relationships, powered by AI. Mm-hmm. So what does it mean? Like if you think of how we connect with each other, you have a digital layer, like say LinkedIn, social networks, Twitter, all of this, which is already pretty much very developed. But once we leave the digital network and we go into messy, highly unstructured human world, this connection breaks and we end up in a very, very inefficient, messy human offline kind of real world environment. So for the first time, I think with the advancement of AI, we could actually build a very structured infrastructure, same as you would do it online, but for offline people's relationships and human connections in professional space.
So Samantha, in other words, is the personal assistant who helps you network in a meaningful way at large-scale events to form a human connection and with business outcome as the goal.
Yeah, I mean, events, it's where we started. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily we want to limit with events. Mm-hmm. Events are just a good excuse for all these people to come together in one place at the same time. And it was natural for us as the event organizer to pilot the Samantha during the Hong Kong FinTech Week because we have all this access to all these people. But the idea is that your needs, your business needs are not ending with the end of the conference. You want to continue to meet people, build your network, finding new opportunities. And Samantha is staying with you. And what happened in offline kind of world, every time you will go to a new place, new meeting, new dinner, it kind of resets. And you have to start from scratch. Hi, I'm Anthony, I'm doing this and that. But with Samantha, she has this memory and a sort of kind of a digital passport of yours that maintains throughout all these interactions. So that's what we call infrastructure layer for the offline relationships and connections.
You have, over the past years, obviously building Samantha and also through Hong Kong FinTech Week as an organizer, been in touch with people from Silicon Valley, from mainland China. You've seen their approach, very different approach to building things, launching things, even the philosophy, the mindset itself behind what the future looks like, what good looks like. Yeah. So can you share a little bit where you stand in that and where is our world going with being supercharged by AI, but also pulled into maybe different directions by these two super regions?
It's a very different approach, definitely, like you said. It's interesting, I can give you a couple of examples. First of all, when we launched Samantha, we enable both English and Mandarin Chinese. And we saw much faster adoption of Samantha among actually Mandarin speakers, because I feel like for Chinese mainland attendees at the FinTech Week, they were feeling much more native and smooth to get on board with Samantha than an average Hong Kong or European. Even though we're in the environment of finance and technology conference, where people are the most open to the new tech. But still, I think quite a few people were a little bit intimidated by the idea that they need to have a call with the AI. However, good news, once they have a call, they were pleasantly surprised and they were really changing their perception. But still, you have that intimidation as of now, which I think will change. But if you look at the bigger picture, I give you a specific use case. So we work with multiple providers, different tool set, and we had experienced some questions and problems, and I reached out to founder in Silicon Valley and said, look, we've been using your service, this and that, and we have encountered this problem. Is there a way we could figure out how we can work? And I never had a reply. And I get the same situation with the Chinese company in Minimax. I think we were asking whether we can try one of their tools. And I reached out to founder, and in 2 minutes she set up the WeChat group. I talked directly, our team talked to the engineers. It was so smooth, and I felt like, wow, the Chinese, I feel like for a lot of Silicon Valley companies, because of it has so much funding out there, so they don't really necessarily care about each user. So if I leave the service, they wouldn't be bothered that much because they will have another 100 coming tomorrow. While Chinese, and they would, the customer care, the attention is way different, because they will fight for each customer to make this great experience for them. And I feel like it's a massive difference. I was really surprised, and I give an example, like, although we eventually didn't choose, but the experience was amazing, and really big respect for the founder and for the team. And I think China, given this, there's kind of very natural attitude, customer first, fighting for the customer and fierce competition. I think it will definitely, in the long term, become definitely one of the biggest advantage on top of their technical capabilities.
That's very interesting. China, as we all know, is leading when it comes to adoption, right? People, I think, over the past 35 years have seen so much change that they know that jobs are going to disappear. If I'm not upskilling, I'm dying. And that is why when new technology comes, new opportunities come, it is only natural to act upon it, right? Besides that, through the growth of the market, from e-commerce to any app, people have to fight for their consumer because there's just so much choice. And Chinese consumers are, quite frankly, very spoiled. They want it cheap, they want it good, they want it now, right? So with that same mindset, I think mainland Chinese companies somehow bring it into everything they do. And also the money, as you say, they're not readily available. Nobody's throwing money at them. Yeah. People work really, really hard. And the work ethics and that desire to build something new together is also, I think, very strong and could be a non-obvious but strong advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they are hugely undervalued at the moment. And this situation is more sort of artificial in my way. I bet that China capabilities in the AI space, you will see a massive, if not domination, but definitely on par with the US in terms of the level of both the technical capabilities, the innovation, the speed. It's gonna be interesting to see how this will play out. But for us, we take the position to get. We're not choosing sides. We're looking at, okay, where are the best for what we working on, what we're doing, and we take the best of both.
Let's talk about Samantha. So I have my data here. You generated 1,000 curated introductions and had an 80% satisfaction rate during the latest Hong Kong FinTech Week. What does Samantha actually do for a user at an event, as we discussed, right? It can pre-plan your agenda, but here I am offline at an event, what's the functionality?
Yeah, so Samantha designed to be your 24/7 AI host of the event. Primarily objective for her is to make your experience at this use case at the event, make your experience at the event get the most out of this. So whether attending the right talks, meeting the right people, navigating through, you can ask her anything like, what's happening now? Where should I go? Where's the coffee? What's the event happening on Thursday? How can I get there? So she also helps as a concierge, and she can navigate you, help you with any questions. What thing we've done also after the event was over, we took the transcripts of all the conversations took place across all the 8 stages across 2 days. It's a massive amount of data. And we give it to Samantha, and we let everyone who used Samantha to ask any question what was discussed throughout these days at the conference based on the interest. We've also developed like a follow-up email saying, okay, you were specifically interested in AI and compliance for this and that. Here's what was discussed by different speakers at different events and different stages across the whole week in relation to this topic that might be helpful for you. But you can also converse with her like you would converse with ChatGPT, asking, okay, what was the biggest trends, what are the biggest fears, opportunities, and she would help you to get the answer collectively, taking this knowledge from within the conference, which you can't get anywhere else because we are not publishing it online.
So what is the future? Because you keep saying that Samantha is not only for events. It is really your way to interact with the physical world and make meaningful human connections. So what is the future, first of all, of events and events industry, in your view, being in here for 10 years plus? And on top of it, what is the future of Samantha in that newly found immersive world?
So the problem with events often is no one really knows what's happening there.
What's the ROI?
The ROI is also could be sometimes very challenging to understand and measure. Unlike digital advertising, okay, you put some dollars here, you have CTA, CPA, whatever. How do you measure your exposure at the event? How do you know your sponsorship, you bought a ticket, and often organizers, they don't really have little clue of actually what are the needs of these people coming to your event. So by working with Samantha has this anonymized, aggregated understanding of the intents of thousands of people. Okay, now based on this information, we can better understand. These are the most pressing topics and things that people actually really care about. So we can create experience that tailor-made for their needs. And therefore, we can work with our corporate partners who would be also helping them to find the right way approach to these audience so that we can find a much more efficient synergy between all of these pieces. So I think building this AI infrastructure for offline connections is a missing element that will help this industry to really elevate the experience. So for anyone involved, whether you're attending, you're speaking, and overall, I feel like one thing we're also noticing, the content part of the event it's still important, but for younger generation, say in their 20s, who grew up through this kind of COVID, and this kind of still, it's a little bit weird for them to sit in the classroom like conference and hear to the speaker. They really puzzle. What is going on? Why are these boomers always sitting there? You can all find this online, right? And what you can see at some conference, luckily not at ours, but in some conferences you see there are more speakers on stage than people in the room, and the few who are sitting there, they're in their phones. And unfortunately, you cannot scroll the speakers. You have to go through. So I think that what happened with events, there's a massive need after COVID for people to meet with each other. We see the stadiums full of, fans of, Taylor Swift and all this stuff, K-pop stars. And then the big conference recognizing that, and we call it the trend called so-called festivalization, where they bring all this sort of experiences, music festival-like experiences into the conferences. Someone is doing cold plunges, yoga, whatever it could be, to create a more interesting experience and involve people, rather than just being in a classroom like a theater-style conference. And ultimately, for us, what is the most important is people want to spend time with people. People want to share the experience with people, and people want to meet other people and build relationships. This is something that AI can't do. And no matter in the future how advanced AI technology will be, how much of our routine work AI will take, there's one thing that will not go away, is people want to spend time with people and build relationships. And when we're developing Samantha, our focus is not to create an AI assistant, AI sort of personality that we wanted you to spend time with. It's not your AI girlfriend. She is designed with only one objective, is to help you to meet other people. It's designed to help us humans to connect with as more meaningfully with other humans as possible. And if you look at this, again, younger generation, Gen Zs and all this, they grew up in this environment where sort of digitally connected, constantly in digital connection online, between Instagram, Xiaohongshu, whatever. The tragedy is that as more they connected, as more they actually disconnected offline. And then it comes with some problems as of isolation, and is a massive loneliness problem, especially among teenagers, youngers. And I feel like the worst can happen if they will switch to AI. And that's where we see our sort of mission is to double down on bringing the people offline together, but do it with the help of AI even better. So that we can maximize this relevance, maximize the meaningfulness part, and minimize the awkwardness. So what Samantha can do now, she can invite you for a dinner, and you can be surrounded by the like-minded people whom you know what you're going to talk about and why they're sitting with you, and she would introduce each other. Things like that. And going forward, we are rolling out very interesting program very soon, in a couple of months. We'll be announcing, I don't want to spoil this, but we're definitely doubling down on human connections, interactions. But one thing we're going to do in end of March, in a couple of months, we're hosting an event called Genesis in Hong Kong Yacht Club. Genesis is designed for family offices, for younger generation of family stewards and tech founders. And the whole event experience will be orchestrated by Samantha. So from your breakfast, where you sit with whom, to lunch, to the round table, talk, and one-on-one meetings will be done with the help of Samantha. So she'll be directing you to help you to suggesting with whom you should talk to. So making this experience out of attending this event, so you no longer should be standing awkwardly, and if you're especially introvert, she will gently help you to connect meaningfully with these people. And I think that will be definitely a very new experience of every event we're done.
I've scanned 30,000 conversations and found your match. Lena, she's building a fintech platform with a bank already on board. Want me to connect you?
Samantha, the AI that actually brings ROI.
I'm very, very excited about this.
How will Samantha integrate into the reality of the super assistant, right? Each and every one of us will have a virtual assistant that runs our life. You call them super assistants earlier today. So imagine this, I do not need to introduce myself. So will Samantha just speak with my assistant, set it up with somebody else's assistant, and then bring us at that point in time together?
Yeah, I think in the future, you will not have 50 different AI agents to talk to.
Yes.
You will have one Meta super assistant of your choice, whether you want to speak to Google one, or maybe Alibaba one, or Tencent, or Claude, and so on. So this assistant will work with different other agents. And because Samantha is AI native thing, so it can natively connect to the super assistant. Because it's designed already in a way that it will be naturally easy to connect with. I don't know, now we're talking about MCP protocol, maybe there will be others, but there's already infrastructure for this. And that's interesting because I don't even know whether we'll have like websites, computers, or phones in the way how we use it now. And guess that's probably something that Johnny Ive now with Sam Altman are trying to build as a new generation of device, maybe which you were gonna talk to. Interact with, and Meta is doubling down on their.
And I saw a necklace that you put as a kind of little token over your neck, and it just records everything you do wherever you go.
Yeah, definitely. So there is no way we can compete with the distribution that these companies already have. But before it happened, we still build this interface of Samantha talking to Samantha. It may not be the same way in the future. You will just talk to your assistant, and this assistant will interact with Samantha. And Samantha will be helping your assistant to connect with other people and things like that. And I think it will be done for different parts of our life and different things, no matter what. So instead of you talking to a government agent about your, I don't know, water bills, it will be your agent talking to the government agent.
Of course.
Because it will be much more efficient for them. Even more, like if you think about the business, you can see nowadays what happens. There's someone sending the proposal, right? And then before sending proposal, it's like, okay, ChatGPT or like DeepSeek, help me to form this proposal. And then I'm sending it to you, and you're like, thank you. DeepSeek, can you read this proposal? Why we are doing this? They should talk directly. And what I assume would happen, the processes, the business, you have your legal team, you have your sales team, you have production team, whatever the team, AI agent, they will be performing all these processes stuff, negotiating the best conditions between each other, finding the right things to do. However, we as humans, we will not be involved in this level of processes. Like if you're a CEO of the company today, you're not going to involve into this kind of details, right? But then what we will be left with is the most fundamental important thing is to build the trust. Whether I want to work with you, how we're going to work with each other. And that thing built on human trust that you can develop with AI. That means much more than often, it means face-to-face meeting with all these technologies. And for this face-to-face meeting, we are developing this infrastructure.
Thank you so much, Anthony. It was
Thank you,
fantastic.
Ashley.
And I'm sure we're all excited to see Samantha not only at FinTech Week and Genesis, but also more and more offline events and offline occasions. And we're going to continue watching your journey and continue participating in it. Let's go get them, guys, and make sure you start building, not just watching.